for the children at home, this is why you want to Google things before you name things. I'm just saying, simple Google search. It's not that hard. You've got the internet in your pocket, right?
Right. Like, at least it's not like, oh, in every other part of the world, that means something awful. I can't hear you.
I'll be back. Hold on. I'm getting more water.
Okay.
I'm coming back.
Yay.
I'm almost back. I'm getting more water, Matt. Matt. I had to get more water.
What makes an ad memorable?
What makes an ad effective?
Does anyone other than Erik and Matt care?
Answers to these questions and everything their wives never wanted to know about advertising await you in this episode of Erik and Matt Like Ads. So Matthew, I'm drinking rye whiskey again today.
Okay.
Yeah, look
Cool.
at that. Isn't that beautiful? I picked this because of the subject today. I feel like the character in this is a spicy character. So I'm like, I want to have a spicy whiskey. I'm so excited about this one, by the way. Like, I'm so excited.
I'm incredibly glad that you are, because I'm going to be honest, I didn't do any research whatsoever. I watched it a couple of times, and I have just been holy shit busy, and I'm so incredibly glad that we are doing this now, because this has been a hell of a week.
So, you know what? I appreciate your candor. All is forgiven. I love you.
Wasn't seeking forgiveness.
Well, I want to tell you the same thing that I say to my wife when we have a little spat. I get close. I draw her near. She doesn't want to, but I draw her near. I lower my voice.
Yeah. Okay.
To kind of like just a soothing kind of, I look her in the eyes and I say, Meredith, I forgive you. And she hates it. She hates that. She does not like it. But I'll tell you, I think it's funny. And when you're like really getting at it, and into it with your wife, that's the best time to crack wise, I find.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Yep. And we stopped having children after that. It's the weirdest thing, like there's been no children after that point. I don't think they're related. I think the fact that we sleep in separate rooms, I think that's probably more the thing that causes that. But
that honestly sounds kind of fantastic.
Dude, you got to try it. My grandparents, I didn't understand it. I'm like, why do grandma and grandpa sleep in different rooms? I know now why they slept in different rooms.
Yeah. My grandparents on my dad's side slept in different rooms. I was always like, weird.
Smell that. You gotta smell that.
Beautiful.
You smell that? That is just like, you realize what I'm doing every time I tell you to smell it. I've been doing this every week now. You know what I'm doing, right? It's product placement.
I see. I can barely see it.
Yeah, I know. And that's why it's so subtle. I know. It's so subtle.
Smell this.
No,
Smell this.
Ooh, I don't know why. Why do I want to have like a case of White Claw right now?
White Claw.
Smell it. What's it smell like? It smells like aluminum.
I've been endorsed on the side.
Are you gonna have like logos down like the side of like your sleeves soon? You're gonna like a tattoo. You're gonna have a White Claw tattoo on your neck.
Yep.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
It's gonna be awesome. So no, but this is like one of my favorite commercials, long form. Here's the deal. You need to, because I was watching back one of the other episodes, you got stop pulling the freaking punch. Stop telling people what we're going to watch before we actually watch it. You did it with you did it with the, what you call it? The one I just looked at. Which I have short-term memory. What was it?
I believe you. You don't have to bring up
just
examples.
Did it. I just looked at it. What did I just look at? Literally yesterday.
Oh my God. I don't know.
Episode 4. Oh, Indian motorcycles. Because like the ad itself doesn't tell you that it's Indian motorcycles till the very end. But now everyone's going to know what they're watching before they watch it.
Let's cut it out.
I didn't tell them to cut that part out though. And by the time people see this one, it'll already have been out.
What do you mean? No, have him
It's
cut
like
it
a
out
Back to the Future thing.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like right now, what's
Oh.
happening now is happening in the present, but also for people will be happening in the future when they watch it, but then it will be our past. But also episode 4, which has not been released yet, that nobody's seen, but we've already seen. This is pretty meta. Think about this. This is like some Sliders type of stuff. You remember Sliders?
Thank you for the note.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for. Here's the thing. I know what you're capable of. All right. I see it in you. I know no one else believes in you. I know Dan.
Bitch.
I know,
son of a bitch.
I know Paul, I know Kristen, by the way, that's right. I'm commenting on stuff now on your wife's content on Facebook.
I like that.
All right.
I was like,
the veil.
That guy just,
pierced the veil.
He just goes for it.
I'm busting your oranges to your wife with your wife.
Yeah, that's great, man.
She was the one that made the Muppet comment though. So I felt like she opened the door.
Yeah.
She opened the door for it. Right.
Absolutely. And even if she hadn't, she would be all about it. She's like, oh, some stranger making fun of my husband? Let's go.
What do you mean stranger?
Well, you haven't.
Meredith knows who you are.
No.
Does she not know you're doing this? She doesn't know about this shit, does she?
She does. She just does not care.
Is she on? Okay, is Kristen on? Is she on LinkedIn?
No.
See, neither is Meredith. I keep telling her. It's like the running joke at my house now. Like I'll find like the least relevant times to say it, and I was like, you really got to get on LinkedIn. Because you got to see what I'm like. You got to see what I'm doing on LinkedIn. Because I don't really get involved on like Instagram. I'm there, and then Facebook, but I don't really like do stuff there. Yeah. My main like social media like prowess, and I don't think that's an overstatement, is on LinkedIn. I feel like I'm really bringing it.
Well,
how about these guys, dude? You saw this thing, right?
I saw that.
Was this like the dumbest thing you've ever seen, or what?
I liked it a lot. I definitely.
If anybody comes and works for me based on this, like they got to know what they're getting themselves. Like there are no surprises, right? They cannot tell me that they didn't know what they were getting themselves into.
Yeah.
Right.
It's true.
Dude, I'm amped. I'm amped today.
It's good.
I really am.
That's good. I want to ask you something. I have so you just said that you don't use Facebook all that often. I think that's maybe a little bit of a lie, but so like how memories pop up, it tells you like, oh, you have memories.
Love the memories. Love the memories.
Blah, blah. Yeah.
Love them.
Fantastic.
Love them.
It's a good way to scrub all the bullshit that you said when you were like, much younger and dumber. No,
mine are mostly my children, just things that, and reminds me of all the love in my life,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Not the regrets, because I didn't put that stuff on Facebook. I knew better.
Oh, whatever. So this time last year, as we were, I guess, entering the pandemic and entering quarantine and all of that, a dear friend of mine, whose name escapes me right now. No, his name is
That's
Brian.
That's how close. That's how dear.
Yeah.
Ryan.
This guy Brian.
Brian with a B.
B.
Like that's the difference between like Brian Adams and Ryan Adams. I know that there's a
Y in it.
You know about that, right? Brian Adams and Ryan Adams.
Yeah. What about him?
Like Ryan Adams, like kind of like the punk rock and roll alt country guy, and then Brian Adams, like the like the what you call it, the Robin Hood Men in Tights guy. So like at a Ryan Adams concert, I guess the story goes, like someone confused him for Brian Adams or was making a joke and asked him to play that like Robin Hood Men in Tights Brian Adams song. And I guess like Brian Adams lost his shit or something. I don't know, which I guess the guy's got a little bit of a temper from what I understand. He used to be married to Mandy Moore. Guess it didn't work out. You know who she's married to now?
Jesus Christ, dude.
The dude from Dawes. Do you like Dawes? The band Dawes?
Dude, can I finish what I was saying?
I figured we'd get back to it.
You're steamrolling me here, man. You're like just
That's because, you know why? Because I'm drinking rye whiskey and you're drinking a White Claw, dude. This isn't my fault.
No, I'm comfortable with myself to drink something that is both alcoholic and refreshing.
That's why I have a glass of water.
Okay,
I really want to know about your friend Brian. So
my friend Brian, he is kind of he's a comedian, and And I think he is one of the funniest people on earth. I hope at some point he blows up, so I can borrow some money from him.
And not pay him back.
And not pay him back, because comedians, all that money. So he posted something that he had made, a commercial that he had made last year, and I want to show it to you. I would ask you if you thought that it was going to be too. So he swears in it. He says some neat stuff.
He swears and says some neat stuff. Got it. Okay.
I was going to ask your permission, but you are like the asshole in the group, so you're gonna be good with it either way.
Wait, is that I'm not sure. Oh yeah. Are you doing it? I mean, are you showing it?
All around the world, people are waking up to a new morning, to a new realization, from Istanbul to Indiana, about what's really important, about coming together. People are realizing that we must make the ultimate sacrifice. We must be ready to die for the economy. For if you did not die for the economy, did you ever really live at all? So pull up your bootstraps, pussy. Pack up that briefcase and head down to the dildo factory. This economy ain't gonna fix itself. It needs your blood to regenerate. The economy feasts on our blood, and it needs yours next. So get your affairs in order. It's time to die for the economy. This message sponsored with care by Amazon, General Motors, Johnson & Johnson, Chuck E. Cheese's, Playboy, General Electric, Virgin, Tesla, Nike, Siemens.
I used to work for Cricket.
Yeah.
Back in the day. It's fairly accurate.
So
was that him in it?
His voice?
No, was he in any of it? None of that was all
that was
stock?
all
Okay.
That was all stock stuff. You could even see in one of them, like the watermark was still there.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, the one with the blood.
It.
Yeah, that's pretty marvelous, actually.
Yeah,
yeah.
I just thought that was hilarious.
I thought that is hilarious. I think that's really, really bold for him to put all those logos up there like that. That's pretty bold.
Yeah, I suppose. He's not really. I don't know. He's not us. He's not,
he probably works for like JP Morgan or something, right? He works for Geico, yeah, I would say that's appropriate. There's one word there that probably needs to be bleeped out, I would say,
Mm-hmm.
And then that'll get people to want to look it up on their own to find out which word was bleeped.
We don't need to leave it at all. I just think it's funny.
It's very funny, actually. It's very funny. Yeah, the ultimate sacrifice. That's pretty good stuff. It's pretty good stuff.
All right. Well, that landed well. Do we have to keep doing this?
Like the series or like this particular episode?
I don't know. I just want can we just not even publish these? Just talk. It's the part I like the most. It's just talking with you.
I get that. I really do. I understand that.
Mm.
So tell me, what's your favorite parts about talking to me? What, you want to tell me more about that?
When you interrupt me.
Yeah. People like that.
It's really fun.
Yeah. My wife loves it.
Yeah.
Also, she likes it when I interrupt her to correct her.
Oh yeah. My wife loves that too.
Yeah.
Actually, hon.
Yeah, I know. It's just seems like such the correct thing to do in our mind. I don't know. It just seems so like the thing to do.
It really is.
And every time I do it though, the feedback that I get is that it was not the thing to do.
No.
And
it's not even necessarily correcting. Let me know if you have this experience as well. Even helping when they're complaining about something, venting, whatever, trying to help, trying to come up with a solution. I know this is totally cheesy, cliche, oh yeah, everybody should know that because they talk about it on TV shows and everything.
Yeah.
But I don't know. You didn't want help. All right, then why are you telling me this shit?
Yeah, because it's about the relationship, you know, and it's about empathy and, you know, all the stuff that you were interested in up until she agreed to marry you, you know, like, and then you're like, I don't need to be interested in these things anymore, right? Well, you've seen that, the YouTube video about the nail. You've seen that one, right? The nail.
No.
And it's the gentleman and the lady, and the lady is talking to the gentleman about something that's really bothering her. This is like how it opens up. And then the gentleman's like, well, I really think it's, you know, I think your problem, I think it's the nail that's in your forehead. And this, when you pan out now, you see this woman has a nail, like a freaking, like a nail, like in her forehead. And she's like, it's not about the nail, you know, like, and so it's basically making light of this whole situation. And it's hilarious. It really is. You should look it up. Yeah. Just like the nail couple, whatever, not about the nail. I mean, YouTube's algorithm, I feel like, is pretty sophisticated these days. It'll probably get you what you're looking for.
Did you know that YouTube is the world's second largest search engine?
Did you know I said that like 3 episodes ago?
I did know that.
No, actually, I didn't know that. Really? Are you serious? Second largest?
Yeah. And it's the 4th largest biscuit. I don't know.
Really? The 4th largest biscuit?
Yeah. I don't know what that means.
Well, I know that when someone asks me a question or wants to see if I'm agreeing with them, and I really want to wholeheartedly agree, I'll tell them, I'll say, you bet your bottom biscuit. Because I feel like, you know, like that biscuit on the bottom, you know, that was one of the first biscuits. It's one of your earliest biscuits. And there's a reason why you still have it, right? Because, like, you know what I mean? Like, so like, if you're going to bet your bottom biscuit, you know, you must really be confident. I feel like, you know, like you're really confident.
You've had it for a while or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. This is riveting. Shock and awe.
Why don't we go to the board? Why don't we watch an ad?
Why don't we?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's check in and see how our dear friend Coleman F. Sweeney is doing.
Let's do that.
This is a story about Coleman Sweeney. Coleman, in short, was an asshole. Everyone in his small town knew it. It wasn't that he tried particularly hard to be unpleasant. It just seemed to come naturally to him. Coleman felt like the whole world owed him something, which caused him to regularly ignore the rules of a decent, acceptable society.
Wow.
And he hated anything that got in his way.
Go, you got it! You got it, go! Go, go, you can do it!
And small animals. Even to children, he was an asshole. He was, as they say, born to it. But then, the strangest thing happened.
$3.
Something entirely unexpected. Coleman Sweeney died. A brain aneurysm. Well, subarachnoid hemorrhage to be more specific. And it came as he argued over whether extra fries should be included in a $1.99 early bird breakfast, which was a typical Coleman Sweeney play. It was then that Sarah found something completely unexpected. Coleman Sweeney had registered to be an organ donor. Nobody knew what caused Coleman to do it, but there it was, generous and majestic. And that was the day that Coleman went from asshole to hero. You see, his liver went to Stan, a father of 2. His heart went to Miranda Morgan, who went on to teach for 25 more years. And his tendons went to Staff Sergeant Donahue, who was able to walk again and would never need to be pushed across the street by his physical therapist. And in a moment of small world irony, his corneas went to his 82-year-old next-door neighbor so that she could finally see the crap that her dog made in the side yard and pick it up. Yes, in life, Coleman was a bona fide asshole. 365 days a year, 24/7.
Hey, baby!
But in death, well, let's just raise our middle fingers and shout, up yours, Coleman Sweeney. You're not an asshole anymore.
Fix you.
So you think I'm the world's biggest asshole?
No, I said the asshole in the group, you and I.
Gotcha. Well,
And
it's
it's
Coleman,
only because
it's
all
Coleman
week you've been
Sweeney.
self-proclaiming yourself. Like you've been self-proclaiming, whatever.
Well, you know thyself, right?
Yeah.
Know thyself. It's the first step. So how marvelous is that? I mean, right?
It's wonderful.
It's generous and majestic, if you ask me.
I like a lot about it. I wonder, like, where was this run? Like, where did they use this?
Yes, the intention was, and I know like you're going to scoff at this a little bit, right? Because you don't just do this, but the intention was to make it a viral video. So they only shared it online. Certainly it was developed in a way because you can't make a viral video. You make a video and it goes viral based on whatever, right?
Yeah.
But you can certainly curate it in a way, which they did, you know, to make it go viral. And I think the one we were looking at had like what, a few 100,000 views on it, but there's other versions of this. So I would say I didn't like, pull my, my Texas Instruments, graphing calculator out. But it has to have like millions and millions of views based on if you aggregated, all those things. But so, yeah. So do you know who, I'm going to assume a lot of the answers are no, because you had a really busy week, as you said, and you weren't able to do as much homework on this one. And that's okay, because this isn't Erik and Matt love ads. It's Erik and Matt like ads. Yeah, I mean, we like them,
right.
because we're not going to put too much effort into this. No. So do you know, though, the agency that created it?
No, I don't.
Their name is Martin.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but so no, not the one down the road from you. No, not the one down the road from us in Buffalo, New York. And they're a great agency, but no, not that Martin, a different Martin, a Martin out of Richmond, Virginia. You might know this Martin from their work. Let's see here. Have you heard of CarMax?
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard of Oreo?
No.
Have you heard of Old Navy?
Yes.
And I don't believe they were around for the was it Farrah Fawcett, the performance fleece days? I don't think they were there for that. More contemporary Old Navy. How about DoorDash with the whole Sesame Street, people in your neighborhood DoorDash commercial? This is a recent one, right? But most famously, probably, those are all pretty famous. Have you heard of a government employees insurance company? We know them as Geico. Yeah, they do. I don't know if it's all, but they do I think they're like that agency, right?
Really?
They're Geico's agency. Yeah.
So I've always heard that, that Geico uses an agency. I've never really bothered to look into it. I've always heard that kind of like overall ideas come from that agency, but they also use like all of their kind of like not local, but all of their employees, and they're allowed to like come up with an idea and like submit it. And that's why I think that there are so many, and this might be just something that I made up in my head. Genuinely.
It sounds like it.
I really don't know.
Like
but
it.
I've heard that, and I believe, I mean, we're in Buffalo, right? So there's a big Geico.
Yes, we are. Yes.
Place. I know people who have worked there, who do work there. And I think that's why there's so many like different ideas that like Geico uses, but they're all kind of like in that same like kind of bizarre manner. And I mean, they have and continue to use how many different characters, right? Like mascots, folks, geckos, cavemen, whatnot. All right.
Yeah. So did you recognize the voice of the commercial?
It sounds really familiar.
It does. It does. And it did to me. And until I did the research, I didn't know who it was. So I was a little surprised. Will Arnett.
All right. Yeah.
But it's not his like really gruff voice. It's like somewhere in between his normal speaking voice and his gruff voice, right? So it's Will Arnett. And the actor playing Coleman F. Sweeney, which I think is amazing.
Yeah.
Coleman
like
F. Sweeney, right?
Who,
by the way, Coleman Sweeney is a real person, but that's not the real Coleman Sweeney. And I guess the real Coleman Sweeney isn't an asshole at all. The real Coleman Sweeney is an employee at Martin, and the people there that wrote it thought that the name Coleman Sweeney was just like this fantastic name. It would make the best name for this character. It took them 1.5 years to develop and finalize this commercial. It was a year and a half in the making. It's like, well, it's 2 and change minutes, right? So it's,
it's a long.
And the production value on it is like phenomenal.
Yeah.
But so the actor's name is Thomas Jane. And I guess like he's like in the Thin Red Line. He was in a TV show called Hung. He has done some other things that we probably would know. Do you know who Thomas? Of course you don't. Jane. I just like this. Feels like I have like a sense of power over you. By the way, this is all on the internet. So you could have, just so you know.
I know.
If you see, here's the thing. Clearly my agency isn't doing as well as yours is. Because you are far busier than I, or I have somehow managed to manage my agency more efficiently. But it's probably mostly that you guys are busier than us. So anyway, Patricia Arquette. He was married to Patricia Arquette for like a long time.
Yes. That's no, like that actually rings a bell. Like that whole thing rings a bell. And I mean, he definitely looked familiar, but I just sort of chalked it up to, white guy, long blonde hair, like could be just about anybody. So.
Yeah. So, and so interestingly enough, when I thought Patricia Arquette, I thought immediately John Larroquette, who has nothing to do with this at all, but is just a funny dude. And I always liked him in Night Court.
Which one is
that's
he?
A little bit before your time. He was
no, I know Night Court. In fact,
he was like a public defender. Night Court, public defender. John Larroquette, the kind of the perv. He was kind of the perv.
Yeah, kind of the asshole.
Yeah.
So
I don't know why I like these people, these characters. You know why? Because I can identify. I can identify with them. So anyway, I kind of hit all those points. Man, I'm crushing it. I got all those things. So let's talk about the actual spot, because that's all the background information, right? Like, let's talk about the actual.
Is background information the song, or is that?
Well, that's not bad. That's part of the spot. But yeah, I mean, why don't we talk about the song? Start with the song.
I don't have anything to say about it. I wonder if you had looked up who that's by.
Coldplay.
I figured it was Coldplay.
Yeah.
I admittedly loved Coldplay when they first hit it big in like the early 2000s.
Parachutes.
And since then I sort of just like, I don't know, it was like kind of hip to not like Coldplay. And recently I actually said to somebody, I think I'm ready to start admitting that I like Coldplay again.
Because you had a crush on Gwyneth Paltrow and then a whole thing went down and
I don't know anything about that.
What's his face? Married her, right? And then they had a kid and they named it like Apple or something like that, right?
Yeah, I see. That's not something
Seven or Pepsi. Which one was it?
That's not something that I'm.
It's a Seinfeld. Seinfeld.
Oh,
okay, so let's talk. So that's Coldplay. Great song. And some of the data I found, it said that they wrote the song for it, but I feel like they didn't probably write that song for that ad. But I think it's like a rendition or an arrangement of it, because it doesn't seem to be like, that doesn't sound like the radio single to me for that song. But that song, I think the vibe of that song, it's called Fix You, right? And it has this kind of really like existential kind of like almost afterlife spiritual kind of like vibe to it. So I think it was a really good song choice for sure. But like, how about we talk about, so my criteria, does it demand attention? I've added a word, by the way, undivided.
Oh,
that sound good? Does it demand undivided attention? Does it pleasantly defy expectations? And does it create valuable encounters and conversations, right? Does it get people talking? Does it motivate people? So I would say it definitely demands undivided attention throughout the whole thing. I mean, how about
I'm going to disagree with you a little bit.
Wow.
And only because you said undivided attention.
Didn't see this coming.
Undivided attention. I don't know if it's undivided. Like, I don't know. I could see a lot of people like, I don't give a shit. Right? Yes. Whatever.
You got to be a pretty big asshole not to give a shit about this one.
And only you would know. Or you should know, is what I should have said. It demands attention. It demands attention. I guess my problem with does it demand attention is maybe like I definitely feel like as people in the advertising industry, as people who are marketers, we tend to overstate or overthink how much people give a shit about the things that we've created. or the things that that we put out there. And I don't know. I think it demands attention. I just don't know that, like, I don't know, undivided.
I think you need to believe in yourself more. I think you're selling yourself
No,
short. I think
no,
you need to
it's
believe
not-
in
it's not
yourself
that.
and your
It's-
work more.
I
Matt, you're
believe
good.
in
You're
it.
good at what you do,
Oh
man.
my goodness. Oh my goodness. You're always doing this to me. It's not that I
do it
don't
to
believe
yourself.
in it. It's just that I have.
I'm going to
like,
love you until you love yourself,
I
man.
have this healthy realization that brands and all of that, you know, like all this heady stuff that we create in our heads,
Yeah.
like, you know, like, oh, what's the voice and what's the, you know, this and that and the other. The consumer doesn't really give a shit, right? Like, you know, purpose, nah, I don't care, you know.
Oh, dude, you live in a dark
No,
world.
it's just realistic. It's being
And that's what
realistic,
everyone who
right?
lives in that dark world says. They always say that. They say, I'm a realist, you know? And I say,
pushes me to make better things because I know that the cards are stacked, or the deck is stacked against
and
me.
I clearly must be complacent and
Just
content
terrible.
and content with, you know,
Average bullshit.
greatness. So listen, though, seriously, come on. The
Okay,
opening
sorry,
scene
keep
is
going.
the opening scene is truck nuts. You're
I
telling
know,
me
it's true.
that
You're
with
right.
truck
You're
nuts
right.
and
You're
I'm like,
absolutely
oh,
right.
okay, you know what? I'm gonna go see what's happening on LinkedIn now, right? I'm gonna turn away and not watch this thing. I am sorry. I don't think it's happening because which, by the way, I'm excited about because I'm pretty sure this will be the first time that truck nuts make an appearance on LinkedIn. Yeah. I am super stoked about this.
And it is you that has brought.
And they could have gone with any. I mean, there's a variety of truck nuts. They went with the flesh colored. Yeah. I mean, they did, right? And I know that's maybe an uncomfortable thing to say, but you know, like I'm a realist. All right, let's you know, I'm a realist here. You know, let's think pragmatically here. So yeah, so I think that but throughout, I mean, they do these things that are challenging and that are also very funny and unpredictable, even though, you know, okay, this guy's the world's biggest asshole and he's going to do asshole things throughout the whole thing. All right. Yet you are entertained every single time he does it. So like what, you got truck nuts to peeing in a bottle that he throws out the window, which is perfect. Right. And so by the way, they're using like reverse empathy techniques. Do you know about empathy techniques?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so maybe our audience doesn't, right? So empathy techniques are what you use when you're trying to get an audience to like a character. Okay, there's different versions. So like undeserved misfortune, for example, is one. Disney uses this one all the time. They take a little girl, they take a little boy, and in first 5 minutes, they whack the parents, right? Boom.
Every fucking time.
Exactly. You know, I mean, if you haven't seen Kurt Vonnegut talk about the story arc, it's a really old video that was obviously on VHS that they converted to digital, and it's like about a minute or 2 minutes, and it's brilliant. And he talks about the different story arcs, and he talks about this one and says, you know, this one very.
Everything was beautiful and nothing hurt. It's a print.
Yeah, that's is that from Slaughterhouse?
Yeah.
I applaud you. He's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Sorry,
have you read his quasi memoir, Man with No Country?
Yes. I believe I did not finish it. I'm with kind of self-diagnosed ADHD. I tend to start books and don't finish them. But I'm like always really excited to share like the little bits that I really like got something out of, and I'm like willing to just give the book away. I believe that's one of the ones that happened to. So
Meredith's Aunt Lisa got it for me for my 40th birthday. And because she gets me, and I thought it was brilliant. You should finish it. And my daughter, for my 40th birthday, she made me a bookmark to go into that book. And did we talk about this? That my daughter affectionately calls me Lady Shoulders.
No.
Yeah. She gave it because I don't know. I think it's funny to do that kind of like dance with your shoulders. That kind of like, you know, kind of a little bit of like that. Your great aunt Esther does this dance at all the weddings, you know. Yeah. Anyway, so my daughter coined me or dubbed me Lady Shoulders, and then she made me this bookmark for my 40th birthday that looked like a set of shoulders, and it says Lady Shoulders on it, and it is my prized possession. All right, like. if you want to crush my soul and spirit, take that and destroy it. That would get it done. Like, this is such a valuable artifact to me.
So anybody who's been watching and wants to become Erik's arch nemesis, you know where to start.
So let's get back to that, right? So empathy techniques get you to feel for someone, connect with someone, it makes them likable. You can do the reverse of them to create a villain. Okay,
Yeah.
so you just find all the things and you do the opposite. So they're doing all these things, right? So like giving candy to children would be, be showing kindness to a dog,
Mm-hmm.
right? These would be empathy techniques that would make you like someone. You want to create a villain, you have him shoot paintballs at a dog. You have him take candy from children. You have him hand a lit cigarette to children.
Which that one I actually think is freaking hilarious.
Oh my gosh, it's so good.
Like taking candy from a baby, like that, okay, that's pretty obvious.
Yes.
The paintball, like, okay, I wasn't expecting a paintball gun, shot at a dog today, but all right, I can see it. And then just walking up to the kid and handing him a cigarette.
Right.
I'm just like, oh my God, you're an asshole.
Well, yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, obviously that's the whole point of it. The throwing at the end, the change at the stripper, and so, but I think it's also, I want to point out that, so he's going to be doing all these things, but it moves so quickly, right? From scene to scene, that you don't have a time to predict them. And it really that's why I think it really is undivided attention. I really do think it really keeps you going along the whole way. And it's pleasantly defying your expectations at the same time. And I think there's some technique stuff before we get on to the punchline of the spot, because I think it's a really powerful spot, and it's not just hilarious, it's actually quite moving. And I found myself getting emotional and getting choked up. I mean, I've seen this thing 100 times. I've had the good fortune of teaching some storytelling and copywriting kind of seminars. And I show this one as an example. So I've seen this a ton. Why are my eyes getting a little watery as I'm watching it in preparation for this? It's that powerful. But I think there's some technique stuff, like the when he takes the candy from the kids and he's closing the door and the mom's running up to the door, right? When he throws the change at the dancer and she stops dancing. It's a little kind of cool, cinematography, things like that,
Yeah. He's leaving the ladies' room and he wafts, and then you're expecting to hear from the girl, and you don't. I think that's a good one. That one caught me, because I was expecting something and it didn't happen, and I was whoa, didn't happen. It caught my attention.
Yes, I mean, so it's from a technical standpoint, I think it's really
very
well.
Very
it's
well
really well done, and then of course, it takes the turn, with him getting the aneurysm, which you're not expecting. And then all of a sudden, the most unpredictable thing happens. The dude, for some reason, is an organ donor, you know? And obviously we know what happens from there.
And I think it's just absolutely brilliant that they've taken, you have to be such a gigantic asshole to not be an organ donor.
Even this guy is an organ donor. I mean, come on, right?
Organ donor. And that's really where, for me, so my triangle, right? Motivating, right? That's motivating. Because I think most people would go, I don't know. They're going to grab their wallet and go, did I check that box or didn't I? I don't remember, And maybe that's people who just are like me, and I just don't, I don't pay attention to a lot of things.
No, Kristen says that.
Yeah. But no, really, I would never have had an aversion to becoming an organ donor. That just would have never happened. And I think really when you're creating a spot like this, you have different motivations in mind for different types of people, right? And sometimes you're going to say, we're just going to ignore this segment of the population because that's not who we're talking to. But I think this one does a nice job of appealing to maybe a couple of different types of people. One, the people who are just apathetic and haven't really thought about it, don't really care, you know, they're going to go, oh, wait, am I, or did I check that box or didn't I? Then there's like the people that like, for some reason, which I can't begin to explain, have an aversion to it. Oh, I don't want people taking my organs. Like, why not? You know? And I don't want to get into like maybe.
Do you swear this much? Do you drop the F-bombs this much around your mother?
Around my mother? Probably. I'm sorry. Am I swearing a lot?
No, it's just that I know your mom watches this along with my mother. And so I was just curious if you felt this comfortable.
Nice way of telling me to stop swearing.
I'm merely making banter that I think will be interesting for, you know, for your mom and my mom to. Anyway, you were saying something powerful. Oh, don't be that way. Matthew's the last.
Well, dude, you know, honestly, you know, I was in the middle of something
but that's what I do. You know this. That's what I do.
The attention wasn't on you, so you had to bring it away.
Thank you. I'm still here, guys.
Jesus. Okay.
I just want what's best for you. Now both of our moms are trying to figure out, is this like part of the shtick? Is this like for real? Like, are they actually like, you know, it's weird. It's getting weird.
Yes, it is real. I hate him.
It's a strong word. I'll take it though. You know what? Because what the opposite of love is not hate. What is it, Matthew? Come on, say it.
Indifference.
That's right, Wilford. It's indifference.
Is that what you were going for? I don't really know.
No, it is. Yeah, the opposite of
cool.
Ali Viso. Yeah, the opposite of love is not hate. It's indifference.
Cool.
Which I think this ad gets to that though, right? Like you're not indifferent about this. It forces you to make a decision, to have an opinion, right?
Yeah.
And I think that it's brilliant. And I think that, I'd like to go to the woo-woo, deep, subconscious, like spiritual element of the ad, which I often like to do. But before we go there, is there anything like literal, subjective still that we want to talk about, or can we go below the waterline and get into that deep stuff?
I don't think we have time for all the deep stuff.
But that's why people tune in, is for
that's why people don't watch this
for the Deep Space Nine stuff. You know what I mean?
That's why tens of people will watch each of our episodes.
You know, we're up to, I think we might have close to 10 subscribers now.
Wow.
Yeah, I haven't checked recently. I'm just assuming because a couple weeks ago we had 7. So I'm thinking like we got to be close to 10.
We might have gotten 3 in the last couple of weeks.
It could have happened. Just literally, there's 7.6 billion people on the planet. YouTube is the second most used search engine. Like, I'm just law of averages, right? Like,
you know, people
just think about the fact that people accidentally clicking to the wrong video, finding ours, and accidentally clicking subscribe. I feel that's chaos theory. I think explains the probability of that, right?
Should we like appeal to click farms? You know, like the people in like India that are just like clicking on things so that like advertisers make more money.
I think we get
like, can we like just like
that did that pipeline thing. I say we get them involved. They look like they know what they're doing. You know, like those people look like they're legit. I say we get them on our team. I say we go dark web on this.
Okay.
I don't even know fully what that means, but I've heard people use that term and it sounds badass.
I know
dark web.
I picture like black screen, like kind of like the old school green font.
Low lights, yeah,
you know, like the green font going all over the place. It's all like
Red Bull or like Rockstar probably is more kind of the brand for that, you know, energy drinks and stuff, pounding them.
Yeah, cool.
So let's go, because I know you want to dig deep down into the psyche. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about the hero's journey, right? Let's talk about archetypes. Let's talk about the archetypal story that seems to tie together all of humanity, the hero's journey. I think we've mentioned it before. You know, you've got a person, an ordinary person in their ordinary life doing their thing. There's some inciting incident. There's some crisis, something that makes them question either some external force that, you know, or philosophical universal force that makes them challenge internally what's going on. So there's all this conflict happening in all these levels, and they don't know what to do. And they encounter a guide. And that guide, you know, connects with them, you know, empathizes with them. I know what it's like to be you, and then kind of helps them to create a plan of action and kicks them in the pants to kind of go out and do that. You know, that's the rest of the story. And they have challenges, obstacles, ups and downs, but eventually they, you know, avoid failure. They achieve success. You know, they like, pew, pew, woo, you know, and they like blow up the Death Star and stuff, you know, and then, hey, you know, and then they return home, right? And that's the whole idea is like hero's journey is like you leave home to again, return home, but you're not the same person. You're actualized, you're evolved, all that sort of stuff. Every story, like this is how it works. All the popular movies, right? They're all, and a lot of great commercials and brands are this and leverage this, and it's happening here, but they're doing it in what's so sophisticated, I think, and interesting, again, expectation defying about it is they're doing it with an asshole this time. They're doing it with a villain, you know, the anti-hero kind of thing. And even that person can transform. And literally they say it, right? They literally say that he goes from asshole to hero. I mean, they literally say it in the copy, which the copy, by the way, is really well done. It's not fancy. Nope. It's not sophisticated, but it's really well done.
It is.
Right?
It is.
And then this really transformation takes place.
I really, and it's a very small detail, but I really like adding details to copy that like sort of make it more interesting. I think I've talked about it a lot. It's candy. When it says died of an aneurysm, and then they like actually, well, technically it was
yes,
I can't even think of what it was, and I was like,
that's
beautiful. That's beautiful. I love that.
Yeah, the way they characterize the $1.99 early bird breakfast special, you know, the fact that they say the finally see the dog's crap. I think just the fact that they use the word crap. I mean, they're using stronger language throughout this thing, right? And then they use the word crap there. I think is very interesting. It's all, there's a lot of that. The generous and majestic phrase, which I, you know, kind of picked out earlier, I think is also a great example of that. But so I don't know. I think that the whole hero's journey is there, the transformation, they're dealing with the kind of deep existential issues, and it becomes spiritual, right? Because you want your life to matter. We all want our life to matter, whether it does or not. And that's the question, right? And that's the big question that we all struggle with, right? You know, what is this that we're a part of? Why is it this way? You know, what happens, you know, but the point is ultimately, does it matter? Do I matter? And they're saying you can even be like a raging asshole, like this guy, and you can still matter and still have a lasting, enduring, positive impact in the world, you know, and I think it's brilliant. And I don't think it's an accident. I think the people that put this together at Martin knew what they were doing, not just because they've created all this other stuff. This shows their chops, I think. And I don't know what team worked on it necessarily compared to some of the other stuff that we've seen, but yeah, it's really deep and brilliant.
I often, at least somewhat disagree with you on things like this. And I think it was absolutely 100%. All of that was intentional, right? Like, I think you're absolutely right. I think it was really well thought out and beautifully planned and beautifully executed. It's really nice to see things like this like get executed well. I think we have kind of a problem in our industry where, and of course, like you said, they were going for viral, so they wanted to make it like really good, but like often it's like kind of shallow when like people try to create for viral. Like they're like, oh, let's hit the guy in the nuts and everyone will laugh, you know, like you know, and often like just digital advertising in general, like people focus so much on like the targeting and all of like the, you know, like the marketing tech portion of it. They like forget that like what really resonates with people is the story, you know, like the message, like
the connection, right?
That's what actually matters.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think this is a really great example of it. And I was honestly, when I asked you, like, what was this used for? Where was this used? I was delighted when you said that it was made. And I think you were worried that I was going to be like, well, you can't make a viral video. Yeah, it's just you go viral, you know. But ultimately, like, I have no problem with somebody trying to go viral. It's or at least a brand trying to go viral. Like, that's fine. Just think about it, right? Like, make it good. And I think they absolutely did that here. Yeah.
I don't know really much more to say about the ad particularly. I mean, the only thing, other thing, not so much about this ad, it just happens to be true of this ad, but I think that age-old, you know, question of, how long is too long? How long should an ad be? This one's 2 and change, right? But it doesn't feel like it's 2 and change.
It does not.
Because just like Schindler's List, right? Maybe, and that's probably like really horrible, not great comparison, but like it's a long movie, right? Or like, yeah, right. Or okay, isn't one of the Matrix movies really long? Lord of the Rings, Hobbit. I don't know. Some of those, honestly, some of the Hobbit movies, they drag a little bit. But the point is, it should be as long as it needs to be to tell the story and to get the point across. And if it is doing the things that we often talk about, your pillars, your triangle, my triangle, then it won't matter how long it is, and people will want to consume it, right? And so.
And here's like maybe like a bigger question for you is the length, right? Like you said, the length is kind of irrelevant as long as people are engaged, right? As long as it is good, people will stick with it and it won't feel like it's long. I mean, do we write ads that are 30 seconds long because we're worried that people are going to lose interest, or because that's just how we have to buy the media? Right, because it's 30 seconds.
I think for traditional broadcast media, that's why.
Right. And that is one thing. I probably, maybe talk ill of like just digital like platforms and just using that a little bit. But I think that's one of the really nice things is that you can kind of make something that is as long or short as you'd like. Mm-hmm. I think that in a way, too many advertisers have taken that for granted though, right? Like just not really thought about like, hey, what's something great that we can put out digitally that we wouldn't normally be able to afford in traditional?
I don't think, honestly, let's talk about that for a second. I don't think most advertisers are starting with what can we put out that's great? I just don't think that's the question that they're starting the process with. And I think that's part of the problem is that we're not asking what can we put out that's great. We're saying, what can we create that will achieve this quote objective, and then let's think about it probably from a narrow and rigid and uninspired perspective. But
that's true. I mean, that's not just advertisers, that's all marketing.
True.
Right? And
yes, amen to that. Preach it.
Did you just somehow turn up your vocals?
No, I said amen and preach it, and so those just naturally I think the universe just kind of yeah, absolutely.
Cool, man. Thank you for bringing this one. I think that I had.
You're welcome.
At one point, but because of the virality.
The virality.
Oh, one last thing.
Yeah.
Kudos to who is it? It's Choose Life. Who was the nonprofit?
Donate Life. It was Units. It was Units originally, which, by the way, that occurred to me. I think that might be why the views on this might be lower, because the first time I saw this video, it was tagged as Units at the end. This one's now tagged Donate Life, and I wonder if they switched it out or something like that happened, or if there's another version of this that was the original version. I don't know, but it's Donate Life.
That out later, but yeah. Kudos to them for having the truck nuts to put this out. Right?
Yeah. You know what? Yes.
That's
yes.
Massive.
What? No, thank you, Matt. That needs to be said, because this kind of stuff, and not because there's truck nuts in it, okay? Because truck nuts, you can only really, truck nuts are like a very kind of delicate spice, or a certain accent color. You can only use it sparingly. And honestly, in most instances, it's not going to work at all, right?
Right.
So it's not so much the truck, it's the fact that they had the truck nuts to do something like this, right? And that needs to be applauded and celebrated, because your brand does not need to create this spot, but your brand does need to create things that are on par with this in terms of its effect, its boldness, its risk taking, and you need to find the way to do it that's true and honest. Like, don't throw truck nuts in a spot
Correct.
because you think like that's bold, right? No, it needs to be sufficiently appropriate to the values and worldview and personality and then voice of your brand, right? So like, Donate Life took a chance on this, and it paid off. And so I think, no, you can't understate that, right? Because we really need more brands doing stuff like this. This is where things should be. So thank you. I thank you.
Oh, well, you're welcome.
Say that.
You're always welcome.
I bet I am. Hey, good job.
Yeah.
Seriously, I feel like, based on your preamble earlier, I thought, man, he's really going to expect me to carry this thing, but you brought it today, man. You brought it.
Hell yeah.
Why is it that your complexion, your skin color looks so good? Is it the camera, or am I just like a pale
I also got some sun in the last couple of weekends. So
okay, that could be it. Yeah, I'm generally just sickly looking and emaciated, anemic.
I think you look fantastic.
I just feel like your complexion's so much nicer than mine. And I've got natural light too.
Might be my lighting. I don't know.
I have natural light though. Wouldn't you think the natural light?
Got the big soft box.
You got that soft box. But you're a soft boxer. When Kristen and your clients and I get together, these are the things that come up.
Or most advertisers, most people in our industry can use empathy to try to appeal.
Mm-hmm.
And that it's equally powerful to use the reverse. And I think that hating a character is just as powerful as loving a character, right? Like think about like the characters that have made the deepest impact on you when you're watching Game of Thrones.
Golden Girls.
Right, the Golden Girls. Yeah.
Night Court.
Night Court.
T.J. Hooker. That was the William Shatner in the 80s.
I didn't watch. I've never seen that one. Never watched it.
Rockford Files. Baywatch.
The child king from Game of Thrones.
I never watched the Game of Thrones.
I mean, when a villain is so good, like so bad, that they're good.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's like incredibly powerful, and I often
like Mumra. I'm like, I'm gonna find one of these. He's gonna lose it. I know one of these is gonna. It took me like 6 tries. Gotcha. Yep.
Mumra. Oh my god, because that's just such a. You like opened your Mary Poppins bag.
Yeah.
Went through to like another dimension.
Hold on, I'll be right back. I know I got it down here somewhere. I know he's here somewhere. Oh, there he is, Mumra. Boom.
Mumra. Oh man. Yeah.
I could tell you what I don't feel like I don't know if this matters. I don't like to record this sort of stuff. I don't like to record criminal behavior at the federal level.